Hello everyone, how's your day? I hope you all are doing absolutely fine. So here's a story from our slash Am I the A-hole? This woman has been married for 14 years and has a difficult relationship with her father-in-law, who's constantly put her down. With her mother-in-law being terminally ill, this could be her last Christmas. But spending the day with her father-in-law brings a lot of stress. She's also dealing with personal struggles and wants to spend time with her adult children. Now, she's torn between staying with her own kids or going to her in-laws and risking a tense situation. Let's dive right in.
Would I be the a-hole if I don't join my husband and daughter at his parents' house for Christmas? For context, I've been with my husband for 14 years, and we have an 11-years-old daughter. I was previously married and have a 19-years-old son and 18-years-old daughter from that marriage. As I said, my husband and I have been together for 14 years. In that time, I have had to put up with his father constantly putting me down and making it clear he thinks I'm not good enough for his son. We both dislike each other intensely, but remain civil for the sake of the family. I love his mother and siblings and their families. All of them, except him. He makes snide remarks any chance he gets and takes any opportunity to put me down or criticize anything I do. His family know what he's like, but don't make an issue of it so as not to upset his mom, which I understand. They've also put up with him and his attitude all their lives, so it doesn't really faze them anymore. I can live with that. Here's where it gets tricky. My MIL is terminally ill with inoperable cancer. She has been given a year, 3 at the most. This could be her last Christmas, although I really hope it's not. As all 3 of their children are adults with their own extended families, it becomes a juggling act, and we, hubby, child, and myself, are usually the only ones there on Christmas Day with them. I also have my adult children who I would like to spend some of the day with. Again, trying to coordinate with them and when they're with their dad and his family. Cut to May of this year. I was fired from my job for something I didn't do. It's now in the hands of my lawyer, but my reputation has been damaged. It has really affected me and destroyed my confidence, as I had a great reputation prior. So, I know that if I spend Christmas Day at my in-laws, he's going to bring up why I'm not working, etc. They don't know why. This will inevitably lead to me not wanting to discuss it, and him pushing the issue. If I tell him I don't want to talk about it, he'll make a big deal about it. If I do tell him why, he'll turn it all around on me and use it to support his view that I'm not good enough. In either case, things will be uncomfortable and may escalate further, verbally. My mental state is not great right now, and I'm sick of his shit. I don't want that to upset my mill. I want her to enjoy the day. I also don't want our daughter to witness it and get upset. He won't care, as he will put more importance on bringing me down, rather than being happy as a family. I would obviously rather spend my time with my oldest 2 before they grow up and have families of their own, and it becomes even more hectic. That's not to say I wouldn't see them, but I think you know what I mean. So, fellow Redditors, would I be the a-hole if I stay home with my oldest kids and enjoy part of the day with them instead of going to my in-laws and risking an argument?
This is a really tough situation. She clearly wants to be there for her mother-in-law, especially with it potentially being her last Christmas. But her father-in-law's toxic behavior is a major stressor, and given her personal struggles, it's understandable that she'd want to avoid a confrontation. Prioritizing her mental health is key here. Family gatherings should bring joy, not more tension. I don't think she'd be the a-hole for staying home and spending time with her adult kids instead. She deserves a peaceful holiday.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to cook gluten-free or take my near-adult son out to eat? My 17-year-old son was diagnosed recently with a wheat allergy. He had been battling gut issues for a few months, and we finally found that he can't have wheat. I immediately went into research mode. I read labels, learned all names for wheat, and bought hundreds of dollars of food/snacks for him to try. I took him to Whole Foods and organic markets for hundreds more. I bought wheat alternative flours and began cooking gluten-free. He still had digestive issues. So back to doctor. Only issue wheat. Come to find out he's spending his paycheck at school on biscuits and gluten-filled snacks. He goes to a friend's house and bam eats McDonald's and wheat-filled junk. The doc and I warned him that this is only mild-moderate, but it can get worse. He actually came home with urticaria and hives last weekend. He ate cake and pizza at a friend's. He's not 10, he's 17. I can't be with him everywhere and police every single thing he eats. He knows what weed is and what to look for. We literally learned together. The school said they won't cut him off even with a DR note because he's old enough to police himself. They provide alternatives, but he won't eat them. He's stubborn. Tonight we went out to a gluten-friendly restaurant and I got him a gluten-free meal, $26. Ours average 15 to 18. I made sure he was good with the selection. He didn't eat it, but instead snuck off others' plates and snuck bread. My ML is an enabler. Just a bit won't bother him 10 bites later. He stunk up the car on the way home and tried to deny that he ate wheat, but the guy won't lie. He's wanting to stay home due to gut pain, but I'm getting peeved because he's causing it. Am I an awful mom that if he's going to eat what he wants that I am just over making the effort and spending way extra money when he's not even following the diet? I have been begging, trying, and cooking GF for over 9 mo's and have spent thousands trying to find what even I feel tastes pretty good alternative. I don't want to be an uncaring person, but I feel like I'm wasting time and money that we don't really have when it makes no difference. Am I the a-hole?
This is a tricky one, right? As a mom, she's been putting in all this effort, time, money, and energy just to make sure her son can eat safely. But at 17, he's old enough to make his own choices, and it seems like he's choosing to ignore the consequences. Wouldn't you be frustrated too? It's understandable if she feels like she's wasted so much time and money, especially when he's not taking it seriously. At some point, it's not really her responsibility to police his diet if he's not respecting it. If he keeps making these choices, he has to face the consequences, and it's okay for her to stop putting in extra effort when it's not making a difference. So, what do you think? Would she be the a-hole for stepping back and letting him deal with the consequences? Personally, I don't think she's the a-hole. She's done her part, and now it's on him to take responsibility for his own actions.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to buy a black coat for a funeral when my dark gray one is the one I always wear for these occasions? My granddad passed away a few weeks ago, and this funeral is coming up within the next week. I had planned on wearing my standard funeral outfit, black pant, white shirt, etc. However, I had a phone call with my dad, and he was asking what I was planning on wearing, so I told him, and he said, "Are you planning on wearing that gray coat?" I said, "Yeah, I plan to." His reaction was, "Well, everyone is wearing black, so you are going to look stupid with that on. You need to go out and buy a black one." I told him no, I won't be going out spending on a coat so close to Christmas, and also I am still a week away from being paid, so I am not exactly flush with cash right now. In the end, I said, okay, I will just be without a coat for the day again. He said he did not like that, and I should just go buy one. I can get a decent one for 40 to 50 pounds again. Told him I can't afford that. He then called me selfish and put the phone down on me. I have not heard from him since.
It's understandable that his dad wants him to fit in, but he's already struggling financially, especially with Christmas around the corner. The man's not being selfish, he's being practical. A coat doesn't change the fact that he's honoring his grandfather. So, what do you think? Would he be the a-hole for not buying a new black coat? Personally, I don't think he's the a-hole. His financial situation is a valid reason to stick to his gray coat.
Am I the a-hole for skipping the bathroom line to wash my hands? Basically what the title says. I, 30F, was recently at the airport for a flight. I went to the ladies' bathroom to wash my hands about 15 minutes before boarding, so I could have waited. There was a line of about half a dozen women, and I made eye contact with the one at the front of line and told her I was just going to wash my hands. She had no issue with it. There were 2 sections of sinks, and I went to the one closest to the entrance. The next 5 sinks to the left of me were all unused in the time I was washing my hands. As I walked out barely a minute later, a woman towards the end of the line cupped her hands around her mouth as if to broadcast to everyone and said in a very condescending tone, "There's a line," and laughed at herself. I was so taken aback that anyone had any issues with this that I only managed to mutter, "I was just washing my hands, so..." As I walked out, I really didn't see an issue with what I did cause I did not cause anyone to wait in line any longer than they would have, nor did I take up a sink that people ahead of me needed. But now I'm not so sure. What is the general public consensus of skipping the bathroom line to use an available sink? Was I the a-hole for doing so?
It sounds like the woman wasn't trying to cause any trouble. She just needed to wash her hands quickly before her flight. There were plenty of open sinks, and she didn't hold anyone up. So, it seems like she was just being considerate of others while taking care of her own needs. But the woman who called her out clearly had a different perspective. While she might have been annoyed at the idea of someone cutting in line, it doesn't seem like the woman did anything wrong. So, what do you think? Was she the a-hole for skipping the line to use a free sink? Personally, I don't think she's the a-hole. She wasn't holding anyone up and used the sink closest to the entrance. Seems like she was just being efficient. Alright, that wraps up today's stories. What do you think? Were any of these people the a-hole? Or were they in the right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Thanks for watching and stay fine.